Hey everyone, Piano Man Chuck here, and I'm back again with the Kurzweil Forte. This is my final review of the Kurzweil Forte. Now I've had this for about a month and a half, and I've had the opportunity to take this out on a gig or two, and I've had an opportunity to take this out on a gig with a singer as well as with a band. So this is really a cool gigging stage piano, and that's what it's designed for. So I'm going to go over the pros and cons as a final review of this board. Now, the pros. These are large, very large knobs, sliders, buttons, and switches and wheels. They're solid, they're well built, and it's great for dark clubs. So when it's dark at a club and you've got a dark background here being black and you've got white writing on it, so it makes it real easy to see. And in fact, when I stand up and I'm at least 2 arms lengths away from this, I can still read everything that's on here. So it's really easy to read, and that is a plus. So perfect. That alone makes this ideal for a gigging keyboard. The large writing, you just can't get that anywhere else. I haven't found that on any other board. Now, as far as these sliders here, there's 9 sliders over here, and you pay about $500 to $1,000 more for flying faders, where when you switch from one program to another, the faders, they move to the points that they're supposed to be at. Well, this has the next best thing. They have these LED towers so that when you switch from one program to another, and you can see that over here, as you switch, these LED towers show you the positions where these faders should be at, and you can take it from there. So that's another cool thing about this board. And one of the best things about this board is they have this Kb3 mode, which is Kurzweil's B3 version of the Hammond B3. And when it's in that mode, it doesn't take up any polyphony at all. It has its own engine for that. And not only that, all the buttons up here and the faders and one of the switches and the mod wheel over here, that also changes function to everything that's written in blue below these things. The 9 faders become the 9 organ stops. The 9 buttons become other functions that are related to that Kb3 organ. I can turn the rotary on and off, and I have Kb3 distortion. So it's really cool. Right now, you hear a piano. If I go to Kb3 mode, everything is geared for that Kb3. So if I turn the rotary on and off, Kb3 distortion, it's all right here in front of your fingertips. You don't have to go through menus. That's what I love about this board. It's very like Nord-like in that respect. And as far as splits and layers, you can't get any simpler than that. They have dedicated split and layer buttons over here. And once you're in a split or a layer menu, you've got control of the 4 different zones that you can assign to those splits or layers. I mean, you can divide the keyboard up into 4 different zones if that's what you want to do. Again, very easy. And as far as the most common things that you would use on any stage piano, which would be EQ, compression, transpose, reverb, delay, and some control of the first 2 effects that you've assigned, no menus at all. So when it comes to EQ, I've got an on-off to turn the EQ on and off with, and 4 large buttons for high, sweepable mid, and low. Same thing with compressor. I can turn it on or off and then adjust how much compression I want. As far as reverb and delay, that's the last two sliders. And if I want to transpose, because I've got a singer that knows their song in C sharp and I know it in C, and I have to think about how to play that in C sharp, I don't have to worry about that. I just hit this transpose button once to go up one semitone to C sharp. I'm done. I play in C, she sings in C sharp, it comes out in C sharp, everybody's happy, she's happy, the audience is happy, I'm happy. Can't ask for anything more. Now, the categories here are broken up into 20 different categories. That makes it real easy to get to what you're looking for. Some other manufacturers break it up into 8, some break it up into even less. But here, categories like piano, electric piano, clav, leads, pads, synths, synth bass, organ, strings, brass, winds, ensemble, guitar, bass, drums, percussion, voices, mallets, hybrid, and miscellaneous. It makes it real simple. So when I get to another thing like winds, and I can change the view of my menu so that I'm not only looking at the current voice or program that I've chosen, I can see the previous 4 and the next 4. So I'm not guessing. If I want to search or if I want to switch to something that's one of those 9 that's on display, the current plus the previous 4 and the next 4, it's real easy to do. So that's another cool thing about that. And as far as the 4 layers that you have, whatever you've layered, up to 4 layers, these first 4 sliders act as volume controls for those layers. And the switches above those can turn each one of those layers on and off. So in that respect, it's more like a mixing console. Real easy, real straightforward. So no problem there. And if I'm before the gig and I'm trying to figure out what to do, and I'm going through all these different menus and everything, trying to find the perfect voice for something, I don't have to play it myself. I can demo it. So let me just go to pads. And right now, let's say I've got a majestic pad, and I want to hear what it sounds like. Well, I just press these buttons, and they've got a preview for me. So that is really cool. And I can do that with any voice at all. So I can easily check what something sounds like. Okay. Now, one of the coolest things is you've got a decent sized screen here. And when you are actually changing a parameter of anything, whether you're moving this modulation wheel or one of the sliders or the buttons or whatever, it shows you on the screen what you are adjusting and how much you're adjusting it by. So you don't have to have a pencil and paper aside saying this slider controls this and this button controls this and this wheel controls this. No, as soon as you move it, it shows you what it is that you're moving and what it's assigned to and how much you are adjusting it by. Another cool thing. And this is the successor to the Artist series, and it's apples and oranges. It's nothing like it at all. So they've got some brand new voices here. The piano, the electric piano, the organ, and the clavs, brand new. And they are phenomenal. And this huge LCD display, you can do it in color or you can view it in black and white, whatever suits your purpose. And they have different functions depending on whether you're viewing it in color or black and white. And they have this thing called flash play. So everything gets loaded into this 16 gigabyte flash drive so that when you change from one sample to another, there's no delay. It's instant. And the nice thing here, I've got 10 buttons here for favorites. So whatever I want to have as my favorite, in other words, I'm playing a set and I need to switch from piano to something else on the next song, to something else on the next, I just ahead of time choose what those are and save that into my 10 favorites. That's real cool. Now, so far, this has been a lot of pros, and this is a great board, and there's been a lot of pros to this board, but no board is without cons. So here's the cons. Changing a sound, it's not smooth. There is a cutoff. So if I'm playing piano and I want to go to pads, you hear how it cut off that piano? I've got pads, and I want to go to guitar. So there is kind of a cutoff there. It's not a smooth transition when you go from one sound to another. Okay, the other thing is I am a pianist. I've been playing pianos since I was 5 years old, and I played concert grands and all kinds of acoustic grands and everything. So I am used to a keyboard that basically the action is of a grand concert piano. You're not going to get that on this. If you want a grand concert piano acoustic action, go with a Kawai or one of the top of the line Yamahas. Both of those manufacturers manufacture real acoustic pianos. If that's the kind of action you're looking for on a keyboard, that's what you're going to have to go with. But because this is a multi-purpose stage piano, you can't have really a piano action and expect to do organ at the same time. Those are two completely different actions. They're like night and day. Now, Nord does a good job of giving you an action that is pretty close to an acoustic piano, as well as an action that's pretty close to an organ. This comes close to that, so not quite. So that's another con in my book. Other than that, this is the board that I would take anywhere to any gig where I'm with a band. Now, if I'm going to play solo piano, that's a different story. I'd probably go with a Kawai, one of the higher end Kawais, or the higher end Yamahas, strictly as a pianist. But for everything else, if you want the greatest general purpose board that pretty much exists today, this is it. You don't get much better than that. So I hope this has helped you out. Piano Man Chuck, peace out. Thanks for watching.